Welcome to We Help You Home, the podcast where we share real stories, expert advice, and practical tips to help seniors thrive safely and comfortably at their home. You may be a family caregiver, a senior exploring your options, or someone who's just starting to wonder what's aging at home really look like. Atex Health started this podcast because we've seen firsthand how many families feel overwhelmed, underinformed, and unsupported when trying to care for loved ones at home. Our goal is to change that. Today we're shedding light on an issue that doesn't get enough attention: food insecurity among seniors. More and more older adults are being forced to make impossible choices. Choices between buying groceries or paying for medicine or keeping a roof over their heads. I've seen it personally with neighbors and people I know, and had a neighbor who had to choose at times between paying their power bill or buying the groceries that they needed. And they quietly struggled, and it's just something that escalated and got worse as they aged and their health declined. Joining me today is Eric Buell, Executive Director of West Avenue Compassion, a San Antonio-based food bank and ministry that's really making a difference for seniors and all families in need. Eric, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Before we dive in, can you tell us a little about yourself and what led you to this work?
Well, I'm originally from Ohio, but most of my adult life been working as a pastor and a missionary in the Church of the Nazarene. And my wife and I were missionaries in Central America, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Panama, and Mexico City. And then in 2009, we moved to the Mexico-Texas border in McAllen, Texas. And a few years later, a mutual friend of ours, Matt Rice, pastor at San Antonio First Church of the Nazarene, sent me a text and asked if I would be willing to consider being the director of this ministry called West Avenue Compassion. And at first I wasn't inclined, but I came and visited West Avenue Compassion. We call it WAC. And then just fell in love with the mission, fell in love with the vision of what the church wanted to be in the community. And now we've been here for 5 years and loving every minute of it.
Well, that's quite a journey you've been on, and traveling the world and seeing different places and being in different locations, and using your talents now to help West Avenue Compassion. So tell me about WAC and what exactly do they do and what's some of the things they offer?
Yeah, so if you drive by our property on a Tuesday between 9 until about 1 in the afternoon, you'll see a lot of cars, and one of our main attraction or main attention getters is that we have a food distribution. We're a partner with the San Antonio Food Bank, and we serve about 450 to 500 families every week with a state program called the Texas Emergency Food Assistance Program. And so those 500 families come to our campus and receive food. And while we're giving food, we also offer clothing. We also have free diapers for any moms, families that need it. And then also we have an English as a second language program, a GED program, and then also a community garden that's on our property that families can come and garden. And then we have in our church lobby what we call our Community Resource Center. And this is a place where families can find a lot of different resources, whether it's utility assistance, rental assistance, clinics, legal assistance for those going through the citizenship process. We have organizations like San Antonio Metro Health, Methodist Healthcare Ministries, WIC, which is for women and infant children, all kinds of different resources for the community so that people can know what's out there, because many times people are, like you said, are underinformed, and just so that they know what's out there and know what's available for them and their families.
So you're actually involved in a whole bunch of different things, and it's not just a Tuesday operation, which I have been by on Tuesdays, and I've observed that massive operation where you've actually got people flagging cars into the parking lot, and there's a whole team of people that make it possible on your campus there. And now, if I'm correct, your campus has about 10 or 13 acres in total, doesn't it?
It's a really well situated, yes. I'm not sure of the acreage, but we have a beautiful property, soccer field, basketball courts, community garden, woods, and it's right in the middle of the community. So it's a really great place.
And while that food distribution's going on and those ministries are taking place, of course, that Seems like when I pulled in there anyways, it seems like that the whole property's about covered up with people.
Just about, yeah. On Tuesdays, we were using almost every inch of the property.
So approximately what percentage of the people you serve do you think are senior citizens?
Well, when we look at the numbers as we track our families, about 19 to 20% of the people we serve are 60 or over, and they may be living by themselves or they may be a family member. But it's around 900 people since January, 900 seniors that have been assisted by West Avenue Compassion since January.
Wow. It's hard to believe that living in a city like San Antonio, we think of a growing, vibrant city, which it is. It's a great place to live. I've lived other places as well, and this is a good place. But in the midst of this vibrant, growing city, there is tremendous need and a lot of people that do struggle on a regular basis. Well, first off, what led your church to get involved with this food bank ministry?
It really started in 2009. The pastor, Matt Rice, and the youth pastor, a guy named Rick, decided that they wanted to do something in the community for the community. They really didn't know where to look or where to start. And by happenstance, one of Matt's neighbors was the family specialist at Larkspur Elementary School. And so they went over to Larkspur Elementary School, which is less than a half a mile away from the church campus, and asked the elementary school, the family specialist, and the principal, "We're your neighbors. What can we do to be good neighbors?" And they said, "Our families need food and clothes." And so I think they began with 6 families to put together food boxes for 6 families, and that was 2009. And since then, it has grown to where it is today.
Wow. So it was a just simple ask what's needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And schools are a great place to ask those questions because those teachers and resource officers do see firsthand what kids need and what they struggle with. So do you often see or know of seniors who have to make the difficult choice between buying food or paying for shelter or affording medication? What's that look like in real life?
Yeah, so the food bank application is from the state of Texas. It's through Feeding America, which is overseen by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And some of the questions that a person can answer, it's not required, but in order to gain more information, it says, "Is this household in crisis?" And many times we'll see that answer checked yes, and it will say something like job loss, medical, not enough money to buy food. And then there are also questions of, in any month within the past year, have you worried that your food will run out before your money does? And things like that. And so it helps us get a glimpse, a snapshot of where people are. And we also, besides our Tuesday program, we have a dedicated program solely for seniors on the first Thursday of the month. And it's, many people know it as the Senior Food Box. It's a federal program called CSFP. And then also there's a Bexar County program called Project Hope. And quite a few of those seniors will share with us how difficult it is right now. And we've seen an uptick in the past few months of seniors coming to that Thursday program. And so I see it on the applications. I've heard some snippets of conversations that seniors have expressed how much more difficult it's getting because food prices are going up. They're on fixed incomes. It's staying the same. And so there are hardships out there.
And you mentioned your Thursday program that is monthly. And if I remember correctly, that's still one where you can get like the government cheese and things,
Yes.
right? I didn't even know that they still did that.
Yes, that's the Senior Food Box, CSFP, Commodities, Supplies, and Food Products. And that's the federal program, which still not sure right now with the new legislation that just passed, whether that's going to be cut or not. We're hoping that it's not cut. But that is a program that the seniors would get a commodities box with dry goods, pasta, beans, things like that, and then also the government cheese.
Sometimes people don't ask for help, even though they really desperately need it, or they just don't know who to ask. How can we, people listening today, how can we recognize a senior who might be struggling with food insecurity or their basic needs?
Well, one is getting to know people and being aware of who our neighbors are and asking those neighbors how they're doing, and then trying to steer them in the right direction for resources. The food bank is a great place to start because they have a overall view of all of Bexar County and the surrounding areas. West Avenue Compassion is also a great place to bring someone if they're mostly on the north central side of San Antonio. But I think it's getting to know and being aware of the needs around us. And it takes a little bit of time to ask questions and get to know people in their situations.
Just asking your neighbor how they're doing and finding out what's going on in their life makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Right.
Can you share a story of a senior your food bank has helped, or someone it's made a real difference in their life?
Yeah, there's, I won't share any names, but there's a senior who lives kind of on the other side of town over near SeaWorld, which is a good 35 to 40-minute drive from West Avenue Compassion. And her grandson would bring her to get her food box. And at one point, her partner that lived in the house with her had hip surgery, and they were thankful for the food, but they said he was having a hard time getting in and out of the shower. So we have a handyman ministry as well. And one of our gentlemen from the church and I went over to their house, installed a ramp, and then installed a grip bar in the shower just to try to help them out. And she was so appreciative. Every time, this was 3 years ago, and every time we see her, she's still thanking us for helping her out in a time of need. And so it's just, again, knowing what's happening in people's lives and being willing to take a small step to help them out.
And of course, what seems like a little gesture from you, given a day to build a ramp, makes a life-changing impact on her and her family and situation.
Definitely.
Yeah. So those are the things that really make us feel good about life, don't they?
Yes.
If a senior or their caregiver realizes they need help, where do you think they should turn first?
They're always welcome to call West Avenue Compassion or go to our website, westavenuecompassion.org. It's all spelled out. The food bank, like I said, will help someone find a food pantry that's closest to their zip code. And so the food bank has a helpline that I don't remember right off the top of my head, but that helpline will steer somebody in the right direction. But then also our website has many, many links to resources that will steer someone also of where they need to go in order to find the food, whether it's, if they're across town, it'd probably be better for them to try to stay as close to home as possible. But the food bank or West Avenue Compassion, and then also United Way, the phone number is 311. That's a great place to call and find resources. And then even the city of San Antonio is 211, and they'll find what district that person lives in and then try to connect them with resources in their district.
Okay. So I didn't realize I knew about the 311, but the 211 as well here locally.
Yeah, that's the city of San Antonio.
Okay. What about do you know of any resources for the state? Because sometimes people might live in Corpus Christi, for instance, or other places. Is there a number that you're aware of? Or?
That I'm not as aware of. I know when I lived in the Rio Grande Valley, we had the Rio Grande Valley Food Bank. And so that was our clearinghouse to try to, link people with needs. And they oversaw quite a few different pantries. And so it would be finding either the food bank or the municipality that has those links to the state of Texas.
What would you like people in the community to understand about seniors who are facing hunger? And is there something that you'd say, listen, here's some advice for you when you're dealing with somebody that's facing a food insecurity?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing is to encourage them not to be embarrassed to ask, because so many of our seniors maybe come from a generation where they figured, they were taught if you work hard, you will always have everything you need and you won't have to ask. But to encourage seniors to not be afraid to ask for help if they're experiencing food insecurity or other needs, like with their rent. There are many programs through CPS here in San Antonio that help seniors with your utility bills and trying to help them with their rent. And so just and being a friend, being an advocate for them, because they may not be as tech savvy to make those phone calls or to go on the websites or to scan the QR codes. And so to help people, walk with them through that.
I think that it's a big struggle today with our tech world that we live in. There's a generation of people that don't know how to navigate that.
Yes.
Of course, for us in the younger generation and today's modern world, we realize that everything's at our fingertips with search engines and AI and different things. But they don't know how to use that. So really being an advocate would be a good role for somebody to fill.
Yes, exactly.
So what's something that you wish that you had known before you got into this ministry?
One thing is just the how deeply connected We need to be in our communities, have dual role with the director of a nonprofit that offers social services, but also as a pastor in a church, and to realize that our community connections, helping the neighbors around us, being aware of what's happening, and we're not aware of what's happening until we ask. Not assuming we know the need until we know the community. And so it's being in the community, getting to know people, understanding their situations. Because I could have come in to West Avenue Compassion and say, I know what everyone needs. But as a missionary, we learn that's not how you do mission work, that we get to know people. And so I would love to have spent more time getting to know the San Antonio 78213 is our zip code. But now that I'm there, just to help our people realize that it's great to get to know the community. And not to get preachy, but I try to tell our volunteers, don't write someone's story for them. Listen to their story, and then you'll find out what they need, because they'll tell you in their story what their needs are and what they're hoping to be able to have access to through sharing their stories.
And I know there's several places that do food and clothing ministries around San Antonio and other parts of the state as well. I think sometimes that people can get the idea that if they're not a member of a certain church, for instance, that they're not able to use some of those facilities. And that's generally not the case. Definitely not the case with your situation, is it?
Right. We signed an agreement with the food bank that during the food distribution, we're not doing any proselytizing. We're not evangelizing in with respect to preaching at them or anything like that. Before the food pantries, an hour before our food distribution, we have a church service that anyone can attend. And we do sing, we share the word, share scripture and have preaching and things. But through our example and through what we're doing, we're trying to let people know they're welcome no matter, we have Muslims that come and receive food from us. We have, all kinds of different churches and people from no church background, because anyone that comes to us for services, we're gonna offer them services.
And even some of the people that partner with you, when I've been there before, I noticed that there's been other church people that are there, and even like the Church of Latter-day Saints, I believe, had some of their missionaries that were there helping distribute before. And so it's definitely a community joint effort, isn't it?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, we have about 19 different churches that help us on throughout the week. And so we'll receive help from whoever wants to bless the community.
Wow, 19. Yeah. That's amazing. What amazing work you're doing. So the encouragement that I would have for people is to reach out when they have needs, and they could even ask you if they don't live in San Antonio, and maybe you could point them in a right direction.
Right. Yes.
One of the other things that you do at your ministry and at your church is providing English second language classes.
Yeah.
And you have, of course, you and your wife are bilingual. Do you teach those classes?
No, I don't teach those classes. I'm usually running around doing other things, putting out fires on Mondays and Tuesdays. We have a retired teacher that was an Air Force pilot, and then after his days in the Air Force became a teacher. And he teaches all of our English as a second language classes. On call, we have a retired professor of ESL that she has her master's degree in ESL and taught at San Antonio College for years. And she actually helped us teach English as a second language to Afghan women in their apartment complexes. We did that for about a year and a half. And so but right now it's just our retired teacher, Randy is his name, and he has about 8 classes per week.
8 classes per week. So that's more than one a day on some days, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Wow, well, his retirement's keeping him busy.
Yeah, very much so.
Well, thanks to Randy. I'll give him a shout out for doing that today and helping elevate and invest in the community as well. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciated having you on and just learning a little bit about the struggles that seniors have and some of the things that are available to help people in need, not just seniors, but people in need in general. And before we close, how can people who are listening support your mission? Are there ways they can donate, volunteer, or help spread the word about WAC?
Oh, definitely. Our website is westavenuecompassion.org, and you can find ways to, if you want to donate time or money. We have a giving platform that some people do take advantage of. And then we're always needing volunteers. The two things that we're always looking for and receiving and hoping to receive are volunteers and funds. We are a small nonprofit, and so we depend on the generosity of our community. And so there, like I said, on the website, there's a giving platform, and then also there's a link on the website that's interested in volunteering, and then it'll send an email to me, and I'll be able to reach back out to that person and give them the instructions on how to come in and volunteer. And it's not very complicated. The details is we pack bread, meat, and things like that, and it usually happens on Mondays and Tuesdays. But we always welcome our community to come and help their community members.
Do you take food donations as well? If somebody has canned goods, for instance?
We do. Prefer that they're not expired.
Yeah.
And that's always something. So food and clothing donations, we gladly accept. Unfortunately, we don't have room to accept furniture and housewares and things like that, because sometimes people drop those off as well. But any food donations and any clothing donations that we don't sell the clothing, we give it away to the family members that come in. And so we're always very, very happy to receive any of those donations.
And I know here in San Antonio that if somebody has a donation like that they could drop it off even at the ATEX health office, and we would gladly shuttle it over to you.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
We partnered with you last year and donated a few non-perishable items during a food drive that we did, and it's an honor for us to partner with you and help your ministry as well. Before we close, do you have any parting words or advice for any of us that are working with seniors?
Parting words? Well, just a thank you to you, Rob, for inviting me to share a little bit about West Avenue Compassion. I rarely give advice. I try to give encouragement. And so just to encourage people to get to know the seniors in their lives, take the time to hear their stories, become involved in their lives and advocate for them, because sometimes they won't advocate for themselves out of either fear or shame. And so to make the decision to walk alongside somebody for a while, and it'll bless their lives. Investing in them one person at a time makes a huge difference, doesn't it? Well, to our listeners today, if you or someone you know is struggling with hunger, please don't wait. Help is available. No one should go hungry. Reach out. Thank you for joining us today on We Help You Home. I'm Rob Steinbrook, and we'll see you next time as we continue to explore ways to help seniors live well, live safely, and live at home. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and share this podcast or YouTube channel with people that you know and somebody that might benefit from this information today. Check out our website, atexhealth.com. It's the company that sponsors and makes this podcast possible. And thanks again to Dr. Eric Buell for being here today and for sharing so much about West Avenue Compassion. Thanks. Appreciate that.